Hello. Oh, nothing. I don't think anybody can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I mean, they can now. I had your volume turned all the way down.
There you go.
I'm trying to get some things set up here. Let me see if I can't do this. Do 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 do. Window capture. Add a new source. Okay. Window. I think it's that one. No, that's not that one. It's that one. There we go. Let's see if we can fix this real quick. Boof? Okay. Yeah, that works. Alright. Now we're both in the thingy-mabobber.
Yeah.
We both got our little avatar things going on. I'm just trying
Oh,
to
sweet.
get it looking better, and it's just not working. It's like, no, no, we're not gonna work correctly for you, dude. No, no, sir. But we
No.
got McCheese here. That's pretty cool.
Uh,
I just got our little icon showing. I don't even know if I should have bothered with that since you're not even on camera. So, how are things going this morning, buddy?
just waking up.
Oh, yeah?
I'm obsessed with drinking a glass of water when I wake up.
You know, I'm actually fond of that as well. I was reading, and it was years ago when I actually read it, but they were saying that a glass of water, like first thing in the morning, is one of the best things you can do because it really helps your internal organs kind of get a better start up.
Yeah.
I still don't drink water first thing in the morning, though. I do drink it after I drink my coffee.
Yeah.
I'm like, now that I've put all this stuff inside of me that's supposed to dehydrate me, I can now drink water. I'm ready for the water.
Well, so,
I'm not catching any of that. I'm just getting every other syllable. I just hear, it,
are
it,
you running background?
what?
Are you running it background?
No.
Some kind of
I don't have any connections on my issues on my end. Streamlabs or whatever it usually tells me. They'll give
uh,
me a notification if, like, my connection is going a bit wonky. But I don't
yeah.
have any new. The only notification I have is apparently Streamlabs has a back to school sale.
Is that right?
They should call it the back to prison sale, but
Yeah, school's
uh,
dumb.
school's really fucking gay, man. I mean, and that's not, that may sound really intelligent, but if it were actually legitimately about, learning and becoming productive members of society, I could see it. But it's really not. Like, I don't know. It's really irritating the amount of time I spent in school, but didn't actually learn anything that I could use. Like, thank God I know fucking algebra and trigonometry because that really helped me with my fucking taxes.
Yeah, or like where Turkey is. No one cares about Turkey.
Yeah, I don't know. It's silly. His wake and bake was skinny, so bear with me for a second. Otherwise, it's false advertising, wouldn't you say?
Something
Um,
like
but yeah, I mean, fuck, man. Like, school is so fucked up. Like, there are so few things that I've actually learned in school that I could honestly say have helped me in any way, shape, or form. And it's not that knowledge is bad, it's just the priority of knowledge. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but why don't we have like classes that are just basically explaining how to deal with cops? You would think that we would need something like that. Like, hey, if you get pulled over, here's what you need to do, yada, yada, yada. Here's what they can do, here's what they can't do, here's what you can and cannot do. Like, there is so much ignorance of the law on both sides of the aisle that it makes absolutely no sense to me why we're not teaching our kids how to follow the law. Or some laws, like a good example. I was driving down a two-way street. It came to a four-way stop. School had just let out, and I turned right, and it's just traffic is completely backed up because I have 2 miles worth of parents wanting to go that are in the westbound lane. I'm in the eastbound. But the guy in front of me decides that he wants to turn left into a fucking grass park. There's nothing out there, by the way. Absolutely nothing. I don't know why he's turning left, but he decides he wants to turn left. So he stops me and all the traffic because he's going to wait for 2 miles of parents to cycle through the stop sign. Well, I just drove off the road, like onto the shoulder a little bit in the grass to get around him because I was going straight. I got pulled over for that. Even though I wasn't a dick, I didn't speed out or anything. I even looked at the officer. I was like, that dude's obstructing traffic. I was trying to get around him. I got shit to do, man. I can't just wait around and hope to dear God that somebody happens to let this guy fucking turn. Shit, pull him over. Tell him he should have drove all the way to the end of the line, made a U-turn, and got at the ass end so that way he didn't impede anybody else. I don't know. It's just a lot of laws don't make sense, man. And a lot of laws are there and you're not even aware that they're there. And I think it'd be highly beneficial to society as a whole if we had some kind of crash course on the law in general, like the laws that you're going to experience as a person.
Huh.
I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Um, I think most people are dumb, so I don't think there's any sense in trying to teach people that are stupid.
Yeah, that's a good case, too. There's a lot of dumb people out there. I'm
I
one
don't.
of them.
The schools are probably teaching kids how to hate cops more than so. I don't know.
They definitely tried to teach us all kinds of weird things when I was in school. It made my dad really upset one time, but he got really mad because I knew everything about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, but I didn't know who won World War II.
Yeah.
And he was really mad at the school about that because he's like, we're not racist. I get why y'all are teaching him this stuff, but there's what about like the really big important stuff that we need to teach our kids, like about fucking Nazis and people who want to rise up and kill everybody else? Shit that the world should probably be prepared for to happen again.
Well, to that I can only say Mark Twain quote: "I never let my schooling interfere with education."
Yes, that's the way I've always been. I, I call myself stupid and retarded a lot, but I would say I'm a somewhat intelligent person, but it's not because of anything I've learned in school. It's because I've sought out a lot of the knowledge that I know today. Like anything I know about any of the wars or anything, that's all from self taught stuff. That's from me being interested, looking into it, watching documentaries, interviews, talking to some vets. You know, it's just a shame that some of the things that they do teach in high school are so fucking ele- uh they're not needed like at all. Like even looking back when I was in middle school in the 6th grade and I was in English and they were teaching us about like prepositions and all this shit, and none of that is useful knowledge whatsoever. Absolute, not a single fucking ounce of it is. I mean, if you're like a proofreader, an editor, or an actual writer, that actually does serve a purpose for you. But that is such a small fucking niche that why are we wasting people's time with it? Can the kid read? Yes. Can he spell? Yes. Can he write one sentence? Yes. Okay, he's done. That's it. We're done with the English. They're gonna fuck it up anyways with their slang, so let's not even fucking worry about it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I mean, probably should have less schooling. I mean, school's a tool of the government, and the less government we have, the better. The less education we have, the better. And if
Yeah.
you're sending your kid off to school to learn from a stranger, and you're not teaching them anything, you can't blame school. You have to blame your own, you know, your own bullshit.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, my kid wouldn't learn. Oh, well, you
it's
fuck.
not just public schools though, because I will say, because I've been in some, I did homeschooling for my last year of high school, pretty much.
What?
I never did it though because it made me mad. But the homeschool that I was attending was, it was a religious homeschool. So in their textbooks, they were trying to say things like the dinosaurs were killed off after the first Great Flood,
Hell yeah.
and I'm like, that's an interesting thought and everything, but why is this in a textbook?
Was your textbook the Bible?
No, it wasn't the Bible, but it was a Christian homeschool, which maybe I shouldn't be irritated at that, but like you can have. I just don't know why they had to inject religion in it to that extent. Into the actual material that you're trying to teach children. It just
It's because they're trying to save your soul, Skinny.
like I worked with a guy and I still don't know if he was being serious or not, but he legit kept saying dinosaurs aren't real, bro. He said that dinosaurs were a conspiracy by the devil, that he had put all the bones there to make people second guess God.
It's true. He was only wrong on one. It's the government that put him well. The government that put the dinosaur bones there. They put them dinosaur bones in the hood.
Yeah, 7 day creationism or whatever. Which, that's fine and all, but don't tell me that dinosaurs didn't exist, man. I mean,
They did.
if
They're mentioned in the book of Job. If you absolutely need the appearance in the Bible.
yeah. Well, we were having to point out to him like other talks like I think they talk about like a leviathan or a dragon or something like that in there and
Leviathan and Behemoth, yeah.
and people relate that to dinosaurs a lot of times. They kind of point to that one. They're like, "Hey, they do mention them to some degree." But I don't know if those even were meant to be dinosaurs or just like their version of like a mystical dinosaur. I don't know. Bible's a really tough book.
Bible. That's the book for me.
It's a very good book though. Sometimes it's really boring and you have a really hard time understanding what the fuck. But another thing about the Bible that you do have to be careful of, and people think I'm crazy for saying this, but it's been translated thousands, if not millions of times. A lot of shit's been changed. Just keep that in mind when you're reading it.
Oh, yeah, everyone who hates the Bible always goes for that one.
I don't hate the Bible though. I do like it, but I think maybe there are some things in there that have probably been manipulated because man is stupid. Man does a lot of things. Man does what the God doesn't want him to do. That's why Eve ate the fucking apple, dude. So it's not really that out of the realm of possibility to assume that man's an idiot, man's a fuck up. Man likes to manipulate people. Man likes to control people. Man will probably edit books to keep doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are God and you have the infinite power to create a world, to create man, to create life, if you had all that power, you're telling me that the same God that did all that can't keep his followers from messing up his word?
Well, no, it's the free will thing. So it's not that he can't keep people from doing things, it's that he gave us free will. So
Yeah, but you're telling me that he couldn't keep the message he sent down straight?
I don't think he cares anymore. I think he's moved on to other things,
Like,
honestly. As crazy as things have been getting, I think at some point God just kind of threw up his hands and he's like, oh, well, that was a failed experiment. I don't know. Because, like, with the whole Jesus leaving and coming back, I've always been under the assumption that when Jesus comes back, that's going to be the time when God comes back, too. I feel like to some degree they were talking and saying that, God was leaving us to a degree along with Jesus. And when they come back, everything's hunky dory. But it would explain the lack of, I don't know. I don't, today, these times, like, I hate to sound like an idiot that I know, but it's really, we live in really fucking satanic times right now, man. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, I woke up this morning and checked Twitter, and somebody had shared a tweet where a gay man is talking about weighing the possibilities of getting Botox on his butthole so he can continue getting reamed. And I'm
well,
like, what the fuck? Like, do you think God wants to read that? No. I don't think anybody wants to read that. And
well,
I also have a lot of other questions regarding that. Like, you know,
uh,
why am I willfully standing up for your right for equality and, all this other stuff just so you can turn around and completely destroy your fucking body? I mean, if you cared about your own well-being, I think you wouldn't be, getting pounded in the butt so much your asshole starts to bleed and you got to consider surgery.
uh, it's too early for this shit.
Yeah, it is. But no, no, things are just weird. But I don't want to get into religion stuff either, because that's really divisive. People take stuff that I say about religion the wrong way, oftentimes. They,
Well, look, if God created the world and he decided that we needed salvation, and he said you can only come to me through my son, I also believe that if he made that requirement, he'd also give us a path. That path being found in the Bible. So God wouldn't let the Bible get messed up or translated millions of times and get messed up if he was still going to judge us.
yeah, but
That's not a fair God.
no, but we don't have a fair God. Life isn't fair. Like when he did the Great Flood, like how many people actually didn't deserve to die?
Noah and his family.
You can't tell me that they were the only good people on the
According to
whole
God,
fucking planet. Like
I believe.
no, God is vengeful. He's unfair sometimes. I mean, he can be an asshole. I mean, that's the whole point. Like God isn't like this super loving being all the time. I mean, especially if you read the Old Testament. God can get fucking angry, dude.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why Jesus doesn't
But
judge us our worth, right?
okay, well, all right. Well, with him quote unquote protecting the Bible, then explain what the hell happened with the Vatican. Or how he has allowed this one book to be split up and divided by a bunch of different retards who all are interpreting the same word in different ways.
Well, there's going to be. there's gonna be fallible men involved at every turn, right?
Yeah, he turned that dude's wife into a pillar of salt for looking back. Was that Solomon or something like that? Am I thinking? Or fuck.
No.
I know what. I remember the story. I remember hearing about it in Bible school. I don't hate religion, by the way. I think it's interesting. I like asking questions that I feel like a lot of people should be but aren't. I think religion's gotten a little stagnant.
Well, uh, Catholicism and all that, the Vatican and all that stuff. That doesn't rule out the fact that there is a one true way.
No, it doesn't. But
I mean, look at Xenu.
the Bible being manipulated and changed by man isn't changing the path to God. It's just they're just manipulating one of the paths there.
Right, but God still has that one true way to get to him.
But there's still a
That
lot of good stuff in the Bible. I'm just saying take everything with a grain of salt too. Kind of weigh it out in your head and see if it makes sense before you're like, "Oh yeah, that's totally wrong."
the message of salvation remains.
Yes. That message is very important, but the other messages like that people end up pulling out of the Bible that just aren't there, like why not like cursing words? Like I don't know, the word fuck didn't exist back then, so why are we worried about it?
Well, there's always been ways to curse God.
Yeah, to curse God, but I'm not cursing God by saying fuck.
Well, fuck was an acronym.
Was it?
Yeah, fornication under Charles the King.
Huh. Okay. Well, still, that was way after Jesus, so I don't understand why people have an issue with it.
Well, I think what you're kind of getting at with all this stuff is what they would call the wrath of abandonment.
What is that? Expressing frustrations means you have abandoned God? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
God
the wrath,
gets frustrated. Did he abandon himself?
the wrath of abandonment is when God lets you have that free choice, that free will.
Yeah.
That's that's the wrath of God saying, "Okay, go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead, pick your pick."
That's God being a woman right there and saying, "Yeah, you can. Go ahead. I don't care. It's fine."
Uh,
Yeah, you know what I'm talking. A lot of
okay,
guys know what I'm talking.
okay,
Proof
Ariana.
that God is a woman.
Yeah, Ariana Grande, skinny.
Who?
Ariana Grande, skinny.
Uh,
God is a woman.
I don't know. I mean, with a line like that, if you think about it, it makes sense.
No, it's like when you're dealing with a drunk guy.
Yeah, go
Like, hey,
ahead, Eve. Eat that fucking apple. I don't care.
no, it's like when you're drinking with a drunk guy. Like, hey, stop drinking. Go, no.
It's fine. Go ahead. I don't care. Especially the thing with like Abraham, he's like, kill one of your sons. And like, the dude's legit gonna do it. And he's like, stop. I was just fucking with you. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's funny to kind of poke a little fun at it. I don't think people should be all up in arms. I think the messages of love and personal responsibility are all incredibly important. Dave says in early Hebrew, God used to have a wife. How does a spiritual deity like fornicate? Because if he has a wife, he's got to be, getting down. If you know what I mean.
What do you
So,
got?
so like,
What the fuck was that?
what?
You just clicked it off. What was that?
Oh, I don't know. I had a power surge over here. My lights just kind of went a little bright and then came back down for some reason. So it may have been that. So I guess you missed everything I said, but I said, you know,
God has a wife?
yeah, if God has a wife, how would he, get down? Like, what other purpose is there to have a wife than to, get down?
Um,
We're not marrying them for their personality. Let's be honest here.
can't put my fist in your childhood dreams.
He's like Zeus or Santa Claus. No, I think God exists to some degree. I think there's a lot of shit we don't understand, though. There's a lot of shit I don't understand either. So anything I can say needs to as well be taken with a grain of salt. Because I'm also a person and I fuck up and I get things wrong. To err is to human. But to drink enough water so you don't have those dehydrated poops is divine.
Never pay full price for late pizza.
And if it has a bulge, it's probably not a chick. And if it actually is, she's probably on her period, so you want to avoid her anyways. You ever seen a chick that I guess their pads right up on them a little bit?
Huh?
It kind of looks like they got a cock.
No.
Oh. I wonder if pad technology has come far enough to avoid that. No, it's funny. It happened to my wife one time, but because she usually uses tampons instead of the pads, but one time she did use the pad, and I guess her walking made it ride up and kind of bunch up. It was funny because it looked like she had a cock for a second. I was like, where have you been hiding that for the past 4 years?
Ew.
I started to stream late too because I'm sick today. I actually had to call out of work.
Why?
Oh, why did I call out? I got up this morning and I know you've been hearing me cough and stuff from the weed, but I just ain't been feeling good, man. I woke up, I've had a fever, been pretty achy, and yeah. What's goodbye, Dave? Oh, Dave might be leaving. Either that or he thought we were leaving. I wasn't saying I was leaving. But no, I'm just. I usually eat pretty well now and everything, so I think this sickness is more of just my body's just completely worn out because for the past 2 weeks I've had to be learning to work like 3 other departments, and I've literally been flying by the seat of my pants as far as like because I don't want to get too much into my work, but I work with a lot of huge machinery. There's a lot of computers. There's a lot of moving parts. It can be incredibly intimidating. And yeah, so the past 2 weeks I've just been physically exhausted and I've also mentally been exhausted because I'm having to learn like 3 different fucking departments. So, I don't know. It kind of feels like school again, man.
Yeah.
Except
You are.
I'm more tired and I'm actually getting paid to show up. But today I just woke up and I had a fever and stuff. And I don't think I'm sick. I think my body's just. It's like, bro, we're overheating. We got to cool off for a little bit. You can't keep pushing us like that.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Which thankfully, my job is very cool. And my job actually cares about the people that work for them. So if we ever don't feel up to it, they encourage us not to come in. because
Eh,
they want us to make sure that we're taken care of. Because according to them, us staying in good health and staying with the company is far more important than just that one day that you missed. Man, I forgot about Universal Soldier. Tony Sentinel mentioned that in the chat. I gotta make Aubrey watch Universal Soldier.
with Kurt Russell.
Was that Kurt Russell? Or are you thinking. I don't think that was Kurt Russell. I haven't seen that movie in forever, though. Anytime I think of Kurt Russell, I think of John Carpenter movies, so that may be why. But I thought that was like Jean Claude or something. One of
I don't
those
know.
guys.
I've been watching all the Predator movies again.
Oh, yeah? That's cool. I haven't watched Prey, but I just don't care to. I'm not, like, avoiding it. Yeah, it was Jean Claude and Dolph Lundgren was Universal Soldier. Or at least the first one. So, no, it was not Kurt Russell. I'm glad I actually got it right when I said Jean Claude. That makes me happy. Uh, yeah, it's funny you bring that up. Oh man, I guess it's just gonna show the window that I have selected. It's a
What?
good thing I didn't start watching porn while we were on stream. Um, it's funny as hell because Jean Claude Van Damme was originally going to be the Predator, and like they had him in this goofy ass fucking green suit out in the damn jungle like a lunatic, and he was getting pissed off, and they were getting pissed off, and apparently he was just being crazy, and they didn't even need him in the suit half the time, but he wanted to be in it or something like that. I don't know. It's a really cool. It's a really. I'm sure there's a YouTube video that explains it, but yeah, he was originally going to be the Predator, and there's some footage out there of Jean Claude Van Damme in that fucking green spandex suit running around like a crazy person.
Oh yeah, he was going crazy because he was dehydrated.
Yeah, but he's trying to do all these like moves and stuff like in the suit too. I mean, I don't know. He's probably on some drugs too. We got to be honest. It is Hollywood.
Yeah.
I would be on drugs.
Well, yeah, 100 degree jungle wearing a fucking 50-pound rubber suit. That can't be good for anyone.
No,
Yeah, that costume was so dumb.
it was. I actually saw they had a game where it was like predators versus humans. I forget what the game was called. But I recently saw somebody playing it. I was like, "Oh shit! I didn't know there was a newer Predator game that came out." And it pretty much just plays like Evolve, but one player plays a Predator, and you've got like four other people playing as humans, and they're trying to like complete objectives while you're trying to kill them as the Predator.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, the cool thing about that was that one of the skins that you could choose for the Predator was like the original design for how it looked, and it is so goofy. It kind of looks like a Cthulhu version of Kermit the Frog.
Yikes.
But if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, what they were showing was the final design, and that was just, I was like, wow, I'm so glad they didn't go with that. Did you
Yeah.
watch that new movie, the Prey?
Right? Yeah, I liked it. It was really good.
I'm still mad about it, but I'm mad for a different reason than everybody else.
What is that?
Well, I'm mad because when I first watched the trailer, I had no idea it was a Predator movie. And then the thing came up and it was like I knew it was a trailer for a movie called Prey. And it starts off and it's this fucking Indian chick and she's running from the bear and everything and then she like goes in the dam and then some invisible force like rips away the bear. As soon as I thought that, my first impression was this is going to be about the game Prey, where aliens abduct the fucking Tommy and his tribe, and yeah, and the whole thing is like aliens come to harvest people on the earth because we're their cattle, and that's what. And the Indians originally fought the aliens back and everything, you know. So it was kind of like a every 1,000 years or something like that, the aliens would come back to try to harvest us. So I thought it was going to be about that, and then I found out that it was just a Predator movie, and I was like, oh, well, I've seen this before.
I thought they would have the girl from the Alien versus Predator movie. I thought she would be the Predator. And then at the twist at the end would be she takes off her mask. It's like, oh, you're that black chick from the AVP movie.
Well, the AVP movie is like far off in the future.
Yeah,
I mean, to the Indian chick or whatever. But
yeah.
no, I don't know. It just didn't seem really that interesting. I have a good idea of how that story's going to play out. I don't hate it because I think it's woke or anything. I don't have really any interest in it.
Well, my favorite part about it was a 90-minute one and done sci-fi movie, and we need more of those. We
I
don't need
do agree. I just wish
we
I
don't need
could
like
get like
2.5 of Marvel referencing like a TV show on Hulu and like fucking you know did that just happen? That just happened.
yeah.
It
Or
was a straight up it was a straight up very purposeful, very
well,
primal
it's like
survival.
it's one of the reasons why I haven't watched any of the new Spider-Man movies either. Like I was watching one of the clips. Like I've seen clips of scenes and stuff like that on the internet, but I haven't actually seen the movies. But one of them was the one where like I guess they get fucking Doc Ock and everybody to come back or whatever. And it just irritated me because the clip that I saw was a scene where Doc Ock enters and they're like, "Oh, who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Dr. Otto Octavius." And then they just start laughing at him. And they're like, "No, seriously, what's your name?" And I'm like, "What? It's a comic book movie. Everybody has a weird fucking name. Like, please stop doing this fucking winking at the camera and laughing shit. I'm fucking sick of it. I don't want to see that crap in a Spider-Man movie." I don't know. I'm just annoyed. It's like everybody's treating superhero movies like comedies now.
Yeah, that's because Taika Waititi.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking chode. He is a terrible fucking director. I think he's a terrible actor too.
Hey man,
I don't know why they pay that guy. Like because he was the big villain in that new guy movie with Ryan Reynolds, wasn't he?
I didn't watch that.
I did, and I like Ryan Reynolds, so I don't want to say anything bad about him, but that movie was pretty gay. It wasn't terrible. It just, I don't know. There were a lot of things wrong with it, like that fucking Watiti guy, and he doesn't even have titties. So take that out of his fucking name. That's false advertisement. But no, but it's not that there are jokes in the movie. It's that it doesn't take itself seriously. Like the Suicide Squad with James Gunn. Uh see, that was actually supposed to be a goofy ass movie, right? And it was. It was funny and it was kind of goofy, but it took itself seriously even though it was silly. Like James Gunn ended up making you care about Polka Dot Man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it took itself seriously even though it was silly, and that's the good part about it. It wasn't constantly like laughing at itself or poking fun at itself. Or like, hey, did you see that reference? Yeah, we did that. It doesn't need any of that shit. But it took itself seriously within the universe.
What?
But yeah.
Yeah, like when that last Star Wars movie trailer came out, the stormtrooper on the jetpack. They fly now? Other guy looks at the guy who said that. They fly now.
Yeah, like stupid shit like that.
Joss Whedon.
Like even the Batman movies were a bit silly, but it didn't Batman didn't stop and just look at the camera and be like, "You see how silly this is? Yeah, this is super silly, man. We're actually doing this. I'm in a suit. I have bat nipples." No, they were just fucking there. You just kind of laughed at them. Though I don't hold Schumacher responsible for Batman Forever or Returns.
Oh man, that
I mean, not Returns. Batman and Robin. I liked Batman Returns.
wonder what they're gonna do with Michael Keaton Batman now.
I don't know. I don't care. I I really want them to bring Michael Keaton in to do like a live action adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. I think that would be amazing, but I don't think they're going to do it because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. That's what amazes me, like, especially with today's social media and how easy it is for billions of people to just pick up a phone and say, I want to see this movie. And yet, studio executives ignore everybody.
Well, at least it's not like the '90s where they're just like cocaine, Spawn movie, cocaine, Batman nipples.
Dude, I would prefer that, honestly, because at least we had a lot more variety. Think about it. We got Spawn, we got Blade, we had the Batman movie. They gave Sam Raimi Spider Man for whatever reason. It was a good time. I mean, yeah, it was weird. Sometimes it didn't make a lot of sense, but I say the superhero movies then are far superior to the ones today.
No, but the superhero movie needs to die.
It doesn't
I
need
want.
to die. It's just that
Oh yeah.
we it's a trend. It's gonna go away. It's not gonna not die. They always come and go in phases.
I miss the days when you would have like weird movies that come out for no reason.
Like, well, give me an example because I want to know what you're classifying as a weird movie. Because,
Just like shit that just it's a one and done, you know? Like like
like,
Deep Blue Sea.
yeah,
Like it's a shark movie, but it's like it's not Jaws. You know, it's got its own thing. It's in the underwater, shark facility. You know, that came out of nowhere and it was really great. Or like Anaconda came out of nowhere, not connected to anything.
you know
You
they
know,
had a
but
shit ton of Anaconda sequels, right?
yeah, but that's all straight to DVD bullshit.
So basically, what you're just saying is you want more monster movies.
Well, just like Jet Li, the one, like time traveling martial arts guy, multiverse shit.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean stuff like that is coming out though.
yeah, but like
There's this
with
one
the
crazy movie that I actually watched recently. It came out in I think 2019, and it's called Arizona with damn, I can't think of that dude's name now.
I want more gut truck movies and less McDonald's franchise superhero tent poles.
Yeah, this would be up your alley. But just look it up. It's called Arizona, and fuck, what is
That
that guy's
title
name?
that The title tells me nothing.
It's a. It takes place during the housing crisis where they built a shit ton of suburbs in Arizona that are empty, and then everything fell out from under them. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. I don't want to give the movie away, but watch it, dude. I think you'll like it, especially if you like the one and done thing. But it's a thriller. It's a good movie. It's a weird movie. It's a dark comedy too. It's one of those ones where it went places that I didn't expect it to go, but in a good way. Good
Yeah.
movie. But yeah, I like those weird movies that just kind of come out of nowhere like that too. Just like these weird concepts. Where you're just like, what? Oh, okay. Um, does it count if they're adaptations though? Like, is that a disqualifier?
I don't know. Uh, the what's that dude's name? The 2003 Time Machine movie. That was a good one.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, there's another one, Around the World in 80 Days.
Uh-huh.
That was actually pretty cool. And I think that was Jackie Chan and who was that other guy? That one was actually pretty fun. I like that one. Or The Adventures of Baron Munchausen or whatever. I
Oh
think that
yeah.
was a Terry Gilliam. Am I pronouncing his name right? Gillum?
Sound.
One of the Pythons. I think that was one of his movies.
Yeah.
I like those weird movies, but yeah, those weird movies don't happen because, like, the execs don't like that. Executives like predictability. They don't like not knowing how a movie is going to be received. So that's why they follow so many of these damn formulas, man. They're like, we know 2 plus 2 is going to be 4, but we don't know what one's going to add up to. So we're not going to do that. But it doesn't make sense either because the math is there with everybody in the world has been asking for another Michael Keaton Batman movie for God knows how fucking long, and they still haven't done it yet. Like, maybe these executives just aren't on Twitter. Maybe we should force them to get on Twitter and Facebook and be like, just look at it. Just read what the people have to say. Stop giving us garbage that nobody's asking for. Just make the stuff people ask for.
Deep Blue Sea.
Huh? I don't know. Yeah,
Huh?
well, oh, somebody's mentioning the federal uh, ban on marijuana. That's actually a bit different these days. I believe they're only, and I think it's already been challenged in the Supreme Court, but their only jurisdiction is with interstate commerce, which is transporting it from state to state. If the state has it legalized, they just leave us alone now.
As it should be.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Honest to God, is the government's not supposed to interfere with states at all.
What do you think about this gay Spider-Man?
What gay is Spider-Man gay now?
No, the somebody made a mod to the new game
Yeah.
that took out all the pride flags.
Oh, I don't fucking care. Can I mod them out if I want to, or do I have to mod them in?
No, you somebody made a mod that you could take the flags out
Oh,
and they got banned. They got banned, and they said that the person who made the ban was hateful.
It's not
And
hateful. I mean, I see gay people everywhere I look. Well, I don't want to see that stupid shit when I'm playing a Spider-Man game. I just want to punch people and shoot webs.
yeah, but he got banned for it. They're like, "Oh, you're against inclusivity, and you should delete your account. We're banning you. Fuck you." And
See,
it's like,
that's the problem. And it's not inclusivity, it's forced acceptance, man. Like, and it's
yeah,
not even acceptance at this point. Everybody's accepted gay people. It's no.
you will suck that dick, you bigot.
It's like you have to look at it. It's like that scene in fucking Clockwork Orange where they got his eyes pried open, except he's having to watch a bunch of fucking Pride row. I get it, you're gay. Cool, good for you. I don't want to see that shit anymore. I don't fucking care. I even tweeted about it on Twitter yesterday, I think. And I was like, if your selling point for a book, if you use your, I think I said if you use your identity as a selling point for your book, that's an immediate no for me because I don't care about you. I care about what you're trying to sell me, which is a book. Whose dick you suck makes no difference to me. I don't care. If you're black, I don't care. I care about what you're trying to sell me. What do you want me to give you money for? That's the thing that I care about, and that's the thing that I want to see people talk about. And anytime somebody falls back on that stupid shit, support me because I'm gay or whatever, I'm just like, well, you're just automatically telling me that your work doesn't have enough merit on its own. So why should I buy it? There's plenty of other better books out there that have better engaging stories that are far better. No, it just is stupid. I don't think it. I think people just need to learn to mind their own fucking business.
No, you will care. You will care.
No, I won't care. I'll never care.
It's like North Korea.
Well,
You didn't Kim Jong Un enough. You're
well,
going
to
to the fuck.
me, it's like if I grew up in Japan and then came to the States, and then somebody's like, "Hey, man, what do you think about seeing all these damn Japanese people?" I'm like, "What?" I don't know. It's just the gay thing. It's like I'm so used to seeing it, I just don't care anymore, dude. It's a non-issue. It's at
Yeah,
this
but now,
point, it's just slightly aggravating because I'm like, okay, we get it. It's like autism awareness. Like I'm pretty sure we're all aware at this point. I'm kind of glad the breast cancer awareness shit seemed to tone down though. Like I'm all on team fuck cancer. Let's throw money at scientists who actually want to do something about cancer. But half of those fucking establishments don't do dick to actually further any kind of research or help people in any way. They just take your fucking money.
oh yeah, look at this SSRI thing. They're finding out that the research that went into saying that the
Oh, you cut out. I don't know if that was. No, that's not me, I don't think. I guess the feds got him. Um, I have no. What? I don't know what you're talking about in the chat. I mean, I know what some of those things are, but the other ones, uh, cut queens, cut queendries. Wi- I don't know what any of that means. That's some other. See, that's what I mean. Like, oh, I guess Mecca left and he had to come back. Here we go.
you're not allowed to question it COVID lockdowns? Fuck
But
you. Take the jab. You don't want to suck dick? What are you, a bigot?
but
You should be glad to suck that dick.
I no, I haven't. But no, but that's another thing. Like, why is it just like I don't know. There's thousands of different sexualities out there. I don't care. We don't have time to acknowledge everything. Let's just get to the point where we don't give a shit.
No, we need a whole month to recognize gays. A whole month.
I will say if I were black, I would be really upset that I got stuck with fucking February and the gay people got June.
June's the best month. How did they get that one?
And this may or may not sound racist, but every black person I know does not like the cold. So why did you give them one of the coldest fucking months of the year for their month? That just seems really shitty.
It is.
I'm on the side with Morgan Freeman though. I'm like, I don't want a month.
I want
Technically, I have a
a month.
month. March is supposed to be Irish Heritage Month, but nobody celebrates it because nobody gives a shit about the Irish,
Yeah.
even though they were slaves too.
Even though.
Even though uh, everybody's been slaves at some point. I don't know why people buy into this nonsense that it's like exclusively a black thing to be enslaved. I don't. That doesn't compute with me either.
I don't know. At some point, we started giving victims power for some reason. So people who are too weak to have actual power just start claiming mental illness and
Well,
oppression.
the thing
Bullshit.
the thing that really bothers me though is if I mean it's still happening to this day and nobody's doing anything about it. Like
Wiki.
like they're so focused on talking about shit from 300 years ago that they're not even aware half the time that this shit is still fucking going on, that human trafficking and slavery is still a fucking thing in the world.
Yep.
But um yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't make any it seems empty to me. And it's the same thing with the feminism thing too. Like they're all screaming about, women's rights, but nobody's going to Saudi Arabia.
Well, eventually, once we change the red, white, and blue to the rainbow, we'll just start a war in the Middle East for not supporting gay people.
I mean, I don't know. It seems to me that if you honestly do care about women, you'd be fighting for women in impoverished countries that actually legitimately don't have any rights. But what we have right now is basically just a bunch of bored white women with nothing better to do.
White women ruin everything.
Their life is too easy, one would surmise, too. Because if their biggest issue is like, well, I can't murder this baby in me, then I think you have things pretty good. I think you need to focus on the other women in the world who, some of them, I remember a couple years ago there was this protest of all these girls. I think they were in Iran, and they weren't allowed to dance in public. So there was like this huge thing of all these girls. Like some of them were put in prison too, but they were like posting videos of them dancing and being like, fuck you, you can't tell me what to do. And nobody gave a shit, it seems. At least, on the American side of feminism, nobody gave a shit. I thought it was really cool. I was cheering those girls on. I was like, yeah.
Show me your titties.
No, I wasn't saying show me your titties. I just like seeing anybody fighting for their rights to just basic inherent human rights.
I don't
I
care
don't
about it.
understand why fucking Iran. I mean, maybe they really connected with John Lithgow from Footloose and they're like, yeah, dancing is bad. Like, I don't understand why, but it's kind of fucked up. And it's really fucked up that we pretend like people here have it worse when in all reality, America's still the most free country in the world.
Yeah. But people will always find a thing to complain about.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it's too free because I love freedom, but I think we have it too good and people lost focus. They don't understand what real oppression is. They don't understand any of this stuff. It's like when you have a friend who kind of grew up around money and suddenly his parents decide to cut him off or something like that, and he starts freaking out because they're only giving him an allowance of like 5 grand a month. And you're like shitting yourself. You're like, dude, what? Because you're like having to pinch pennies and make everything go on like, you know, 1,500 a month with your little shitty part-time job and keeping a roof over your head. And you're like, holy shit, dude. No, you don't have problems. You're not broke. I think that's what it is. I think that people forget how free they are.
They do.
They forget how good they have it.
They do.
That's why I think I find that I have. Oh, hey, Zach. I'm just streaming. I'm sick. Just not feeling too hot. But if you want to actually hop on here, we're on a StreamYard, so I can send you a link if you'd like. Uh, but yeah, people just have it so good here that they have lost perspective. They don't understand, you know. And you can tell it with the politicians too. There was that one lady that I saw. I forget what office she had or what her name was. I could probably pull it up, but I just remember seeing it a few days ago. But she was talking about inflation and gas prices, and she was like, "Well, it doesn't hurt me any because I make all this money, so it's not really impacting me at all. I don't understand what the big deal is." And in that sentence, she just basically said, fuck you, anybody else, like middle class, lower class, all the classes. Like, and it's that loss. It's that disconnect. That's why I think we should get rid of like all of the politicians. And I'm not talking about like, violence or anything. I'm just saying, just tell everybody, hey, we no longer need your services. We're going to put new people in here because what you keep doing just isn't doing anything but causing more problems. Because there is that disconnect. We need to put normal people in office who understand what it's like to live in everyday America, not this I make $200,000 a year, yet somehow I'm worth $10 billion lifestyle of America. That's a different America. Am I making any sense?
Yeah.
Uh, fuck. It's like Demolition Man. You remember that movie?
Yeah, that was a good one.
But
Talk about,
you had all the upper class people actually on city level, but then you had all the fucking, regular working class people. Dennis Leary wanting to fucking eat salt and shit, like living in the sewers. But yeah. Speaking of amendments, isn't it like the 14th Amendment that any body working for the government in any way, shape, or form, if they rebel against the Constitution, they are should be disqualified or whatever and removed from office and not able to hold any position again within the federal government.
Pretty sure there's something like that in there. Yeah.
So how can anybody vote for a gun restriction? It would That's rebelling against the Constitution. The Constitution isn't for the citizens. It
Uh,
is a list of limitations for the government. It's not meant for you. It's it's meant to protect you, but it's for them. It's their rules, not your rules. It's rules for them. Yeah, it has. But anyways, if you look at it that way, where you understand that the Constitution isn't for you, it's a rule set for the federal government. You understand that damn near everybody holding office right now has rebelled against the Constitution to some degree.
uh-huh.
That includes police officers, by the way. They're supposed to be removed uh, if they violate somebody's rights. That in itself is rebelling against the Constitution. Yet somehow they just decide that it's better to lose a lawsuit and to keep the cop and have another lawsuit than it is to just, fire the guy who keeps violating people's civil rights. I just fire the guy who keeps violating the rights, but I don't know. That's just me. I guess I'm making too much sense here. I'll eat bugs, but I don't know. I'll pretty much eat anything. I have eaten anything. I've eaten squirrel, I've eaten frog, I've eaten snake, I've eaten alligator, I've eaten turkey, I've eaten chicken, I've eaten rooster, I've eaten pigeon. I think it was a pigeon. Maybe it was a dove. I think it was a dove. I'm at the top of the food chain, man. I'm taking advantage of that. I'll try anything once, unless it's like some of that weird shit, like I forget what Asian culture did it, but like they took some fish and they just like buried it for 2 weeks and let it ferment and get like completely disgusting. And yeah, I'm not gonna eat that. I'd rather just be disrespectful than try to put that in my body. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. They used to have those suckers with the grasshoppers in them. Yeah, I think hemp seeds do have protein. It's just very little. You'd have to eat so much of it. Probably have to eat a lot of bugs too. Yeah, I'm okay with doing without the fermented fish, but I'm not okay with forcing people to eat bugs. I'm just saying that, if you put like, I don't know, like tarantula meat or something in front of me, I'll probably at least try it. Like I said, I'm at the top of the food chain, so as long as it doesn't kill me, I'll at least try it, but I can't guarantee I'll like it. I mean, I've eaten ants for dares, like fire ants, so sucks when one of those bites your tongue. Not a good feeling. Where'd you go, Mecca? He went to go do stuff, I suppose. They wanted us eating Costco crickets. I thought that you said Costco chickens at first, and I'm like, well, that's not too bad. I don't mind. I don't mind the chicken from Costco. Is Mecca asleep? Sounds like it. Since the start of adult use cannabis sales in April of this year, the New Mexico cannabis market has demonstrated to the country that people want it. See, that's the funny thing about it is marijuana used to be the largest cash crop for the United States. But the funny thing is that this dude who invented nylon couldn't get any contracts because everybody was just happy with hemp. It did the same thing. So, what this guy did was he created a marketing campaign that was incredibly fucking racist and basically spread around that if you smoke marijuana, you'll turn into an evil, dirty jazz musician. And then they made a bunch of propaganda films about it. Prior to this, hemp was in wide use. You know that jumpsuit that you see in the photo of George W. Bush wearing? He's in that green flight suit or whatever. That was made out of hemp. They used hemp seed oil to lubricate a lot of their engines. Uh, a majority of our stuff was made using hemp. And the reason why George W. still had it is because you know our army holds on to things for hundreds and hundreds of years, especially guns. I think they're just now getting in talks about cycling out of the was it the M16s or whatever the fuck they've been using since NAM? I don't know. My buddy was telling me about it. It wasn't Mecca. It's another army buddy. But he was talking about all the old ammo and shit that because they hold on to shit forever. Anyways, that's besides the point. But yeah, it was banned because pretty much due to racism, which coincidentally is the same thing that happened with the NFA just 4 years prior to that. Marijuana was criminalized in 1927, and I believe the NFA was enacted in 1923, which the NFA was put in place primarily to keep black people from owning guns. Yeah, yeah, Zach's right. Both of them, firearms and pot, have suffered. But prior to that, it was completely legal. The world did not end. It was one of our biggest cash crops. And in fact, in some states, if you were a farmer and you had so much land, I think there was even a law that you had to dedicate so much of your acreage to marijuana because it was so important and valued for the country as an export. But yeah, it's a fucking cash crop like crazy. I love that some states are finally like seeing the light and they're like, let's legalize pot because that's just fucking ridiculous. There's a lot of money that you can be made from that without increasing taxes. But yeah, well, yeah, it wasn't just black people that they were going after for weed either. They were going after the Mexicans too, with like the marijuana or whatever. So it was pretty much just people who weren't white in general, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's wild, man. But it's crazy to me that these things still exist today, but there's not this huge outcry from the side who's supposed to be progressive and anti-racism. In fact, they usually end up doing the opposite because they want more gun restrictions. It's kind of like maybe the people who are quote unquote fighting for progressive ideas are actually just a bunch of racist assholes. But yeah, I don't know what you guys are arguing about. No, I'm not into critical race theory. I just understand history. And that's what they did. I mean, the NFA was enacted to keep black people from owning firearms at the time. That's a fact, dude. I don't have to be woke to understand bullshit. I'm Irish. My people were fucked over too by the federal government. That's why those restrictions I was talking about were so fucking important. Is it supposed to prevent shit like that from happening? So everybody can free to be an asshole. Yeah, well, okay, well, Well, racism was the biggest part of it. That's why it got uh, banned. There weren't any health studies or anything like that. Nobody was concerned about that at the time. It was purely racism that ended up with the banning of marijuana and the enactment of the NFA. There was nothing leading up to it. It was 100% just preying on racism because at the time, it wasn't. We weren't as diverse as we are now. Things are different, context changes. I'm not saying they were necessarily bad people, just people were misled, just like we were misled with COVID. Okay, I mean, you more than welcome to provide a source saying otherwise. I know that it takes about 30 seconds for this to catch up, so. But yeah, it was racism, and dude wanted to fucking get contracts for nylon, and he wanted to get marijuana out of rotation, so yeah, he got rid of it.
The devil's lettuce.
Yeah. Yeah, because everything I'm talking about, I have a source. And all those sources are legitimate, they're documented 100%. If you want to be familiar, you can read the entire book that I've gotten all my information from, which includes all these sources. It's called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. It's by Jack Hare, and he is an attorney and the leader, or I don't know if he still is or not, or he was the leader of NORML, which is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Well, blacks were primarily entertainers at the time. That's what they were aimed at. They were a lot of blacks were lounge musicians and stuff like that. They primarily worked in the entertainment industry. Being an entertainer wasn't exactly like if you remember, like even back in like the 40s and 50s with the anti-rock and roll stuff, like society was just really fucking uptight, man. What word for black people? There's a lot of words for black people. And if we believe the internet, every word apparently is about black people. I was reading one site where they were saying that the word that saying somebody was Canadian was another way of saying that somebody was black. I thought that was really weird. Entertainer. I don't know what you're going on about. I don't think you know what you're arguing about either. I'm kind of like feeling like Mecca right now. But yeah, let's see. He's sleeping. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. I'm still here. I'm just focusing on something. I think this is it. Huh. Anyways, yeah, the book is just The Emperor Wears No Clothes by Jack Carey. You're more than welcome to read up on it. I was trying to look up, I don't know if they have the official site up anymore, but it used to have an official site. Now I'm just seeing it like on Amazon and stuff. But it used to be on an official site where you could read the chapters and stuff for free on there as well. But yeah, that's a pretty good read. You'll get a better understanding of it if you do. Oh, it is really the only legitimate reason. You know, there was more than one movie, right? And there was like a whole ad campaign, like with posters and pins and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Leave what you want. It, yeah, there's also the media, newspapers, lots of different alternatives. Movies really weren't that big in 1927. Not sure if you were aware of that or not. Or was it 1930? Maybe it's 37. I may be wrong on that one. Yeah, it's 1937. So, yeah, the movie came out like a year prior, but yeah, it was released in 1936. But yeah, there's a lot of weird shit that happened too. Like at one point, the government actually crop dusted a bunch of fucking marijuana fields, and they basically poisoned the weed. And if you smoked it, you would probably get really sick or die. But on top of that, they also released ads for what they said were test kits to test if your weed was the poison, and the test kits were fake. So they just told you everything was good anyways. Really fucked up shit, man. Like I say, you're more welcome to read the book. Cites everything. It shows a lot of the propaganda that was going around at the time, the good and the bad. So yeah, I mean, just because he's dead doesn't mean his book disappeared. That I'm talking about his book that he put together. Hey, Pickles, I hope you're doing well. If you're actually free to hop on, you can come and listen to Mecha Snore with me. I have a link I can send to you. We're just on the StreamYards. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on, though. I think I might take a nap here in the next half hour or so. Yeah, Mecha Mix Snore. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna. Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't know. Are you getting it this Saturday or like tomorrow or I'm not sure what the time difference means. What day it is where you are. As I remember you seeing something about that. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just taking a moment. My phone alarm was going off, so I'm making sure and turning off the other ones because that was actually. Let's see. There we go. All right. Oh, tomorrow, cool deal, man. I'm gonna get rid of Mecca here. There's no reason he should be in here. We'll still listen to him snore, but we're not gonna see his thing unless he's talking. I think I can just click that. Yeah, there we go. Cool deal. I got rid of that other guy too. I just hit his messages, so shouldn't be clogging up the chat with nonsense. Hopefully Mecha won't like FAP or anything, but at least we won't have to watch it like we did with Darkside Phil.
Jesus.
Yeah, I legitimately made that It's a Gundam guy upset one time because he was going raging about how that one girl like tossing her cat behind her was far worse than anything that Phil had done, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I think fapping on live stream is a little bit higher up than just kind of tossing your cat, because I don't know. I don't agree with throwing your cat, but I mean, it's a cat. They land on all fours. I see my cats fall from all kinds of heights all the time. But fapping on stream, on the other hand, is not something that you. Yeah, I kind of am. I need to shave up the rest. I don't know if I want to keep it or not. I'm always changing stuff up. I'm very indecisive about my hairdos and stuff. Like at one point, I had the sides of my head shaved, but this hair was like down to like here. So I had really long. I had a ponytail, and I just got sick of it and cut it off. In high school, I had all my hair down past my shoulders. I had really long hair, and then one day I just woke up and I took a shower and I realized I didn't have any conditioner. Yeah, Mecca's right. And at that point, I was like, well, fuck this. And just cut it off. I'm tired of it. I didn't like not being able to comb through my hair unless I had conditioner. Because if you have really long hair, man, it can get really fucking tangled. So, like, especially with my hair, I have really thick hair. Uh, all the barbers and everybody have always said that I've just got really fucking thick hair. Yeah, fapping on stream is definitely not a good recommended thing to do. Um, I don't want to talk about the other thing that you were talking about privately. Well, I don't want to mention it, but I did read more about what you were talking about, and I think that is awesome. And if you need help finding somebody, let me know. I do, I know a lot of cool artists too, and I might be able to find you somebody who might be interested in something like that. I mean, the weird thing about hair is everybody has a certain maximum length that they can grow hair to, which I always thought like anybody could just like have their hair growing and growing and growing. But I was actually watching something not too long ago because I watch all these weird videos. I'm not watching comic book streams and stuff like that when I'm watching YouTube. I'm watching weird videos. But one of them was talking about that, there's actually a code in your DNA that's basically saying like how long your hair will be before it stops growing. Okay, Mior is awesome. I've really been wanting to work with him, and I keep bringing stuff up with him, but it shit always hits the fan, man. Life kind of has been really shitty for the past 2 years. Like with all this COVID nonsense, it just seems like it's been one problem right after the other, and it's not just me. It's just everybody as a whole has been getting impacted in some way. It's just been a terrible 2 years, man. I wish it'd just go away already. But no, for now we'll just have to settle for listening to Mecha snore. And sometimes he wakes up and talks in his sleep. Yeah, if you ever want Carlos to do a cover for you guys, like just talk to me. Um, and I'm sure he'd love to do it. So if you ever need a cover from Carlos, just let me know. His English just isn't fluent enough to come on stream, I suppose. I mean, he seems all right when we're talking like in text and everything, but maybe he has a really thick accent. I've never really talked about that with him very much. He's always said that he just doesn't like it because he's not very fluent. But he seems to be like through text, so I don't know. Maybe it's an accent thing. Like I can understand him because he's actually writing things down. Or maybe he has a translator on hand. You never know. Oh, if you're wondering what I'm doing, this is like the newest thing in weed technology as far as I know. It's dabs. This is the newest thing for me. They were around before I moved out here, but they were so damn expensive because it was illegal where I was. No, don't worry about the prices, man. I'll cover it for you. If you want a cover from Carlos, I will pay for it. I'll worry about that. It kind of, well, I mean, it's a regular little bubbler for the most part, but the difference is this thing is like a quartz. I call it a banger, but it's just like a little cup, and it has that. I don't want to touch it because it's really fucking hot right now, but it has that tube going through, and the idea is you have this, which is I don't know how they make it exactly, but it looks like earwax. But it pretty much is kind of like a little bit of a waxy substance. But you're supposed to get this to a certain high temperature, and then I scoop up some wax, and then I drop it in there, and then if I do it right, it only smokes when I put this carb cap on it, which kind of limits the amount of air coming in. So it's really neat. Um, I'm still learning to get used to it. They have electric bangers or electric kits, but most people we just use a torch. The one thing that I do like about it is I'm able to keep it really clean because, like with a regular bong and stuff, uh, when you're doing dabs, it doesn't get the water as nasty. It's like smoking weed regularly, like out of a bowl. And also, when my banger gets dirty, the only thing I have to really do to clean it is just burn the ever living shit out of it and get it like red fucking hot with my torch. Because it's not glass, it's quartz, so it's meant to handle these high temperatures. But I'll get like, I don't know if you can see like the soot and stuff that's actually along the sides there. But all I have to do is just get it hot enough to where it just burns itself off. It just burns it off. I think that's really cool because that's the one downside that I've always had with like pipes and stuff like that. Is like it's impossible. It's almost impossible to keep stuff like that clean because you're talking about something that's designed to have Atari smoke flow through it pretty regularly. Like, it's understandable that it gets dirty. It just annoys me when things are that dirty. I just don't like it. Plus, I've seen some nightmares as far as bong etiquette goes, too. Uh, I knew this one guy, and I swear to God, he's never changed his bong water at all. Like, it was one of the few times I've actually ever turned down weed, but I was not going to smoke out. It looked like the water looked like it was alive, if you could even call it water, because it was just like a combination of everybody's spit who's used it, whatever water hasn't evaporated, fucking bacteria, and just disappointment. But if you can kind of see now, like I've burned all of that crap off. I can't burn this, so that's actually glass. That won't get too hot and shatter. I'm not equipped, nor do I have the training. Yeah, I mean, blunts are okay. I've never, despite having one like right there, I've never saw the appeal of taking my weed and wrapping it with a big tobacco leaf. Like it never made any sense to me. I will smoke a blunt and I'll smoke a joint too, but don't expect me to have one. I've always been a bong guy. I've always cuz bongs to me, which this is my main one. You see how dirty this is. And this is with me always pouring my water out. We used I used it this morning. So it's got new water. See, you see my water's still clear too. That's a good indicator. But I still need to actually clean it out and I've got to soak. It's all glass, so I just soak it in something. But taking a bong hit is kind of in line with a shot. Um, I'm the same way with drinking. I would rather just go ahead and do some shots of hard liquor and get to that good feeling because I don't like the taste of beer. And I definitely don't drink liquor for the taste either. I'm drinking it because I want to get drunk. So the quickest way is a few shots of some good stuff and I'm set. I don't have to drink the nasty stuff anymore. I can eat and drink whatever I want until I start to come down and I take a couple more shots. Bong's kind of the same way, where you take a bong rip, you're smoking like if you get a good rip out of a bong, you're probably smoking about in maybe an inch of a joint. Not a whole lot, just a good little bit, maybe like, you know, maybe that much of a joint with one hit. And it's just faster in my opinion. I mean, you take like one or two rips out of a bong and you're really stoned as opposed to sometimes like with a joint, even if the weed's not strong enough too, you might be sitting there for like maybe 10 minutes. I got shit to do. I can't just sit around and get stoned all day. I got to get stoned and then do stuff. With the exception of today. I know I show these every time, but I got these. I don't know if you guys are interested in doing metal bookmarks or metal trading cards, but if you do, let me know. And these are actually really good. They do metal cover books too, and I'll hook you up with their info. Well, Eric has all their info. Never mind. Just go with Eric if you're interested in it. But but yeah, these things are awesome. I cannot wait to send these out. These are gonna be so fucking cool. Very excited about those. I don't know if I should put these in a bag or not, cause these unlike the trading cards, like I have bags for the trading cards. I can buy a bunch of these bags for. Do they even make bags for bookmarks? We might just be free balling these in there. I'll figure something out for them though. My only thing is I don't want them to be rubbing up against anything because I wouldn't say the corners are sharp, but if you rub this along something eventually, it's going to cause some damage, especially if it's paper. They are still some really nice bookmarks. Ow. Yeah, they are cool. They weren't too expensive either. I had Carlos do up the art for them because I don't know. I'm really weird. I've seen people do bookmarks and stuff where they just kind of reuse art, but I'd rather, if I can, get something custom made for it because I've seen people put their characters on bookmarks, but the bookmark usually isn't wide enough or the character's too small. So I was like, "Hey Carlos, can you draw Otis all mushed up, like he's been stuffed into a coffin? Like maybe his legs are bent and shit like that." And that's what he did. Damn light. So it's just Otis mushed into the shape of the bookmark, which I wanted it to be that way anyways, because if you're using it, it kind of looks like he's been mushed in the book. I thought it was fun. I wanted to do something that actually makes sense for what it is. I'm not pooping on the other people, by the way. I'm just saying I have really peculiar tastes. Well, I mean, they could be put in the comic, but like I was saying, you're talking about, like I said, it's not sharp, but if you feel it, you could, if it's sliding around on the cover, it might leave some scratches and stuff. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want it to damage the book. And if it's pressed in there, so I might just, what I might do is I might just go get some Ziploc bags, man. I think I can fit these in some snack bags. I'm not flipping people off. My other finger's just behind here. But even if I am. But I think I might get some snack bags. Yeah, I would too. I just used our front and back cover art for the trading cards, which I think that's okay to do. But I did have, Carlos did do this custom design for the backs of our trading cards, which we both kind of were talking about this, and this is what we ended up with that we were pretty happy with because we wanted something that didn't necessarily distract from the artwork on the other side. We wanted it to have this look where it's supposed to be a backing, where you can kind of tell that it's the back of it's meant to be the backing, if that makes any sense to anybody. Makes sense to me. That's what matters. But the bookmarks don't have a backing because sadly there ended up being some kind of aluminum shortage or something like that, so prices changed. But these were a freebie for a stretch goal, so I didn't have to do it back anyways. I was going to try to, but had the prices not changed and shit not hit the fan, it would have happened. And on the other side, we would have had the logo and something else. Maybe like a silhouette of Otis on there. I don't know. But yeah. And I got the prints. And hopefully the books will be here soon. That's been it's been a headache altogether. Even with the cards, like I went like 2 weeks without hearing anything from the people, and then I finally reached out. It's like, hey, I haven't heard anything in a while, and I gave you a big sum of money. Uh, I'm not like trying to rush you guys because I understand, everybody's kind of backed up right now, but you know, could you at least let me know about where I'm at in progress? Like, do we have an ETA? Am I on a waiting list? And they were really nice about it too. So they hit me back and they're like, sorry, we've just been swamped. So, and then they finally gave me and then as it turns out that my stuff was already going into production, they were getting ready to ship it to me. They were just making sure everything was up to their standards before they shipped it out. And here it is now in a big ass box. Or I got a bunch of these all wrapped up along with the trading cards, like stack of the ones with Eric Kent's cover, which Eric's working on a cover for issue 3 as well. And I think Eric's just going to be my go-to guy for the weird covers that I really like doing. My kind of homage covers, I suppose. The ones where, cause like these, I'm like honoring the old school horror comics, and the one he's working on currently honors something that kind of doesn't have anything to do with horror, but it'll make sense when you see it. I don't want to show it yet, but you know, and I like doing the homage covers. I think they're fun. I like highlighting things that I have really enjoyed throughout my life that has influenced what you're about to read in some way, shape, or form. Think it's neat. And who knows, maybe somebody will see the homage cover and they'll be like, huh. And then they'll start actually looking up the old horror comics, like the old EC stuff, and they'll start like actually getting into it. You never know. But yeah, Eric Kent is fantastic. We got Psychotron going. I'm probably about to hop off of here though. I've been streaming for about an hour longer than I usually do in the morning just 'cause I'm not heading into work today. So I figured I'd just chill and take a little bit of extra time. Uh, yeah, horror comics are fun. I'm just gonna say Otis is horror, but I want to say it's more than that too. Um, it's not a horror that I guess it's horror in a sense, but I don't know. I, it's more dark comedy, maybe, would probably be a better description for Otis than just straight up horror, because there's going to be things in the book that, take people off guard and are going to disturb them, but, I'm doing wacky, silly shit too. Like, I'm, I wish we had more distinctions for straight up horror. Like, but yeah, like, Otis isn't straight up horror. Like, what kind of horror are you wanting to do? Like, are you wanting to do kind of like a dark comedy, kind of Evil Dead thing? Or are you wanting to do like a monster book or like a supernatural thriller? I think, I think what I was getting to though is like the word horror just means guts to me. Like, if there's like a lot of blood and guts, I guess you could call it horror because any other time these movies are so different, even though they all fall under the same genre. Because there's so many different titles. Like, you go into the comedy section, it's pretty much just all the same shit. But you go into the horror section, and it's like, okay, you have Amityville Horror, which is about ghosts, and then You have Saw, which is about human torture, and then you have like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is filmed like a, I don't know, psychedelic dark comedy. Yeah, I would say that. Oh man, I'm loving the color work that Carlos has been doing for issue 3. I just hope that, like, within context of the book, and that people understand what's happening and why it's happening. Well, what action caused it to happen. Why it's happening, I'll probably never explain because I don't have to. You figure out your own reason. Yeah, Carlos is fantastic. I think he sent me some more stuff while we were chatting here. Oh, hey, my best buddy in the whole wide world decided to finally write me back after I sent him a message like fucking weeks ago. I'm not complaining, by the way. Like, this is definitely my best buddy in the whole wide world. I've known this dude since I was 6 years old. So I've known him for going on 28 years. So we just kind of have that relationship where we can go months without speaking a word, but as soon as we start talking, it's like we never skipped a beat. It's like we've been hanging out every day. Oh, all he did was send me a meme. I love that guy. He's awesome. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool deal. All right, but yeah, Carlos, he didn't send me more art. It was something else, but he did send me some more art yesterday that looked really good. And so far, I want to see what our count is. Because Carlos has been killing it. Because he's just like me. He has a day job too. Like, you know, we're both just doing this in our spare time for the most part. But let's see, 30. So far we have 23 pages inked. Uh, and out of that 23 pages inked, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 of them have been colored and already. Well, technically 16, because one of those is the. So half of the book has been completely, penciled, inked, colored, and it's ready to be lettered and formatted for print. Otis number 2 is 32 pages, like Carlos and I talked about that. The first issue was only 28 pages, and I'm not talking about the book as a whole, I'm just talking about interior story pages. Otis 1 was 28 pages, but we decided that we wanted a little bit more wiggle room. So we just from there on out we decided that we sorry. I had a brain fart. It happens. Anyways, we decided to go ahead and set a standard for the comic because the first issue we kind of didn't know what we were doing. We were winging it. We were first time creators and all that. And the end result I was happy with, but there were still things that I wasn't happy with. And I talked with Carlos, and we both felt that, an extra 4 pages on top of that would have given us a better wiggle room. And decided to set a standard for page count. So from issue 2 onwards, everything is going to be 32 pages, interior pages for story. So I think each issue should probably be anywhere between, I think, 34 to 38 pages, maybe 40 pages per issue. Like that's after I add in like the title page and maybe some bonus artwork from folks. So maybe a 40-page book, because that would be 8 pages. So that's like a title page. So that's two right there, because I have to put something on the back of that. And that would leave me maybe like maybe 4 pages in the back for extra art. I don't know. I'm thinking about issue 3 right now, in case you're wondering, because we're getting close to that. I'm wondering how many pages. If I need to actually set a standard page count for the book altogether now. I haven't thought about that. And now you got me thinking about that. See, this is what indie comics is. This is learning that you should probably, thinking about shit you should probably have thought about before, and you don't know why. But yeah, I think 32 pages for story is pretty solid for $12, which was what I was shipping, which is what I was selling it for, which included free domestic shipping at least. Uh, I think that was a good price set for an indie book. And 32 pages isn't too bad. It's not that much more expensive than 24. What really is killing me is the colors, but I'm just going to live with that because I need the colors. I like the colors. I want the colors. Because I really want, because Otis is just pretty much my love letter to like horror as a whole, all those different fucking niches. Everything, because I appreciate most of them. The only one I really don't like is the torture porn one. I don't know, I think it's kind of gay. I don't like seeing people be evil because I see enough of that on the news. I prefer like monsters and stuff like that. But beyond the torture porn aspect, which I don't know, that may end up in there somewhere. But with the color thing I'm doing, it's going to allow me to do like old school black and white kind of stuff at the same time. Well, not at the same time. But then right after that, I can dive into like more of the exploitation, really colorful, like Italian shit that was going on in the 60s and 70s. Which that's one of the reasons why some of these pages go full color. So, one of the reason is doesn't really have to do with the story. It just has to do with what I want to do in the story. But as is, I mean, like when Otis gets like really fucked up, he drinks too much. Maybe he smokes too much reefer. We'll see what happens. Otis is definitely going to be doing drugs, man. Maybe not intentionally. I'm thinking about because I really like this movie. What the fuck was it called? I think it's Without a Paddle, and it had Seth Green and oh, forget who else was in that damn movie. But anyways, they're like out in the woods and they have no idea and they're being chased by people or something. They end up in like somebody's like weed farm out in the hills. And like as they're running from the people because they get caught, they're like setting off these fucking traps that are like Roman candles, like signal traps and stuff. But it ends up catching the field on fire. So like while they're running through this field of fucking weed, like everything's burning and everybody's getting stoned off their ass. And I was thinking about doing something similar with Otis at some point in the story. It probably won't play out in the same exact fashion, but we'll see. But, he's an undead redneck. He's a country boy. Country boys, we like to have our fun with recreational uh, enhancers. Responsibly, of course. Don't be a junkie. Seek help if you need it. Use drugs responsibly. Ah, but yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't wait to send these out too. These never show up right on this damn camera. But that Tony Sizzleheart of Otis pissing on the grave of Karl Marx. And if anybody doesn't like it, the only question I have for you is why did you participate in a capitalist system? Because that's how I sell my books. It's purely capitalist system. Communism would have me not profit from my work, and instead the world would profit from. No, I want to profit from my work. No, thank you. That's my sweat. Yeah, Tony did awesome. He did this thing over. Am I pointing in the right direction this time? Yeah, he did this thing over here too. It's hard because I'm looking at it backwards on my screen over here. But he did this recently. I asked him to do that one, and I sent him that video of the guy who screams taxation is theft, and then he blows open his beer. Yeah, it's like just have Otis do just capture this energy with Otis and give the snake its own beer and a gun. He added the pot leaves all on his own. I'm glad he did. I appreciate that. I try to tell most artists when I ask them when they do things for me. I pay most of them. I do pay for stuff. Don't use people, by the way. Art does take time, and if somebody's spending a lot of time on art for you, you need to do right by that person in some way. Don't just think of them as a fucking ink factory. That's not cool. But anyways, when I do hook up with people, I try to tell them, I'm like, hey, you're like, I tell them what I want, but I'm like, you're also the artist. This is your profession. If you think that you have, something that's a little different than from what I asked, but it will turn out a lot better, I'm giving you that liberty. Like, even if people are doing something I want them to do, I still want them to have some artistic freedom. I don't want to be like hanging over their shoulder. I do ask for corrections sometimes, but it's often very rare when I do. Most of the time, I just try to make it work. I'm like, oh, no. Because I also don't want to bog my artist down with a bunch of, nitpicky bullshit either, which in turn would cause him to not enjoy doing his work. Like, I pick my battles, so anytime I do ask for a correction, it gets done. Like, lickety fucking split, he's happy to do it. I don't abuse that privilege. But we also, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into that. But what I'm saying is, I do give most of the artists I work with a lot of liberty because, I'm a writer. I think of ideas and stuff like that. I see them as the profession for visuals. So their opinion automatically has more weight than mine when it comes to visually representing something. Unless it's just something I'm really passionate about that has happened once. Well, it's not, well, the way I do it too is in the way I think it should be done for the most part. Like it or hate it, but man, I pay as pages are turned in. It's a little different with Carlos because since we're pretty much a team, I have him on payroll. He gets paid every 2 weeks a set amount for doing a set amount of pages that we decide on for that 2 week period. But he's a little different because he's always like on a schedule because he has to churn out so much for the actual books as opposed to me asking for a cover commission where I'm like, well, it has to be done by August. And I'm saying that back in like March. But all the artists I've worked with has been fucking solid as a rock, man. Tony's awesome. Eric Hawkins is awesome. I'd like to get something from Shabby eventually. I need to get working on that if he's not too busy with other things. But I'd like to get something from Shabby. That would be pretty cool. I really like Shabby's work. Shabby's work just feels so much like the old kind of mythological movies like Hercules or Jason and the Argonauts. You know, he just has this. He really has a fucking solid ass Conan style kind of to his stuff, man, that I love. I really enjoy it. I wish more people picked up on that. I suppose it's just not the end thing right now. I don't know. I can't explain it. Yeah. Yeah, well, I also got to budget in a lot of this stuff too. I mean, he could do a Conan book, couldn't he? Isn't it public domain? I hate that the chat lags behind so much. Sorry, I'm leaning over here because my cat jumped on my stack of metal trading cards and I'm OCD about stuff, so I'm just getting them back where they belong. I need to put those in the storage box until the books get here. Oh, that's weird. So, that's odd. I guess because they have the name and itself trademarked like somebody else does. That's just strange to me. See, I have a very controversial opinion that some of my other friends don't like, but I think maybe like 10 years after a creator dies, like their works just go to public domain. Like the family can still make their books and they can say they can still have the added benefit of saying, "Hey, this is published by his estate," which super fans will still throw money at them. So they'll still make money, but it'll also keep like Disney from owning everything, which I'm not a fan of. Could you imagine how many awesome fucking Alien and Predator movies we would have if we didn't have to deal with all this fucking licensing bullshit? I don't know. Is Mecha still here? No, he is not. I don't know what I'm hearing on the mic. I think he finally left. But no, it's just, I don't know. I think maybe like, yeah, maybe even just like after death, your stuff just goes public domain. Like your family still has the rights and they still get their royalties from whatever contracts you had going on with other people at the time, I suppose. But I really think after the creator can no longer benefit directly from it, I think with art, with something that is theoretically, I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but it's kind of timeless. It's immortal. It's not like owning a car. A car will rust away. A car will eventually decay. Art and ideas really, on the other hand, don't. There's no decay. Like Batman is fucking forever. Like, unless some huge cataclysmic event happens, that idea is not going to decay. It's everlasting. It's immortal. It's always going to. So why would you have a monopoly on something that is more of something you can't control? It's just an idea in the universe, man. You can't control ideas, and I think, I don't know, like after the creator goes and they can't directly benefit from it, I don't understand why you can't let the people who loved it have it. Like why you can't empower the people who embraced those ideas. Like I don't know, I'm weird about that. That is kind of communist to a degree, but I don't mean that the state should have it, or I just mean it should be like the statues you see when you walking around, man. It or going to the museum and seeing a bunch of paint. Like, art is meant to be enjoyed and it's an idea, and I don't think you should try to restrict that idea afterwards. I'm completely on side of right now as I'm living and breathing. I could sue the shit out of anybody doing Otis stuff because I got the copyright and all that jazz. But I'm 100% for a creator being able to protect their work. I just don't like the idea of having companies with monopolies on a bunch of different properties and stuff that really have just surpassed their creator's lifetime. Like, you know, and these are people who only wish to profit. They don't care about the work itself. It should belong to the people who care about the work itself. That's why I've even mentioned it. Like, I'm probably gonna put it in my will or whatever, but when I pass, like, my work goes public domain. Like, anybody can start making more Otis books if they want to after I pass. And they can sell them and they can make money on them. I want people who care about it to continue it if they want to. Or if they want to just add it into their, as a character that exists in their universe, cool, go for it. I want the idea to live on. I don't want it to die out because somebody just happens to have a license of it and doesn't want to do anything with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. People get really butthurt when I talk about that. They're like, "Oh, the family, the family." I'm like, well, they can still profit from it. They can still publish it, and they can say author. They can have They can have a little seal that they stamp in there. This copy is authorized by the state and benefits the estate of the creator. People go nuts over stuff like that. But at the same time, why is it hurting them if this super fan over here decides, hey, I want to make some comics of this character and kind of continue on with some fan fiction, even though that is a very, very. Oof. But like, I don't want fanfic. I want fan fiction to be legit sometimes. Like, I don't want people who don't understand the work to be the only ones who are able to make it. Look at superhero movies and stuff like that. Like, you have a bunch of studio executives who have no idea what they're doing, and you have a bunch of writers who don't really even understand the character, who probably never even read the book. Why would you want those people to be the only ones to make Batman movies? Why wouldn't you want the super fans, like, say, you know, Kevin Smith in his heyday? Wouldn't you have wanted to see Kevin Smith in his heyday do that Superman movie without that one guy interfering and asking for giant metal fucking spiders and polar bear fights and everybody hanging out at the Fortress of Solitude. Wouldn't you have rather had this comic book geek, this guy who lived and breathed comics, just have complete free reign over this property? That his And the reason why I say it kind of belongs to the universe is because, like with ideas, that thing influences people. It becomes a part of their lives to a degree. It's information that you see, and you can't really just get rid of it. You can't just think to yourself, oh, I just saw an episode of Batman on TV. Let me delete that from my brain so it doesn't influence me as a child growing up. No, it doesn't happen. We are all blank and we are influenced and we are grow with what is around us. And as ideas, I think, to a degree, once the creator passes, it just should just be there to consume. Just be there to be related to be enjoyed, to just exist. Think of how many properties like some of these studios have locked away, and the creators have long since passed, but they're not doing anything with them. Yet there's people out there who would do something different, something interesting. Instead, we just get the same formulaic bullshit. And now Disney damn near owns everything. That's really kind of fucked up. I don't want to live in a world where one company owns everything. I want to live in a world where people have artistic freedom, where it's not so one-sided. I don't know. I'm being weird. Anyway, some people may agree with me, and if you disagree with me, that's okay. You can be like, I want to leave my character and let my kids profit from it. I just don't see how it going public domain would hinder that. I mean, the fans of the original stuff would still be buying stuff from that's officially licensed from the estate. Yeah, they keep changing the laws. Like most of Disney's stuff should be public domain anyways. I mean, how long has fucking Walt been dead? But it but at the same time, this concept would also force a lot of these companies to stay on their toes and start creating more content instead of getting fucking stagnant, you know? And that's what's really happened, I find, is we've gotten stagnant. We've kept focusing on just the same old shit for so long. We're just kind of like water. We're not moving. We're not flowing. That's why we're just kind of sitting in a stalemate right now. Like we had these huge leaps and bounds of technology, and then suddenly, everybody got fucking distracted with member berries for like 3 decades. But I don't know. I think it would. I would think keeping the companies on their toes and always having to come up with like new ideas and stuff to sell to people. I think that would be a good thing. I think that would really breathe a lot of air into a lot of innovation too. I don't know if that would bleed over into patents and stuff though. I'm not too sure about that one though. Cuz I do like the idea of companies having patents to keep, well, you really can't keep China from ripping you off, can you? I knew a guy who and it's kind of funny, but he had a fucking graphic novel. He only ended up doing like one issue of it, sadly. I think he is continuing it as a novel after that because it was just too costly, which, to be honest, just completely lost me as as a consumer. Nothing against him personally for that decision. I understand why he did it. I'm not really a book guy. I write comic books because I like comic books. I like words and pictures. It's not because I'm stupid, but I just uh, comic books are just more fun for me. So that's what I like to do. I don't like reading books too much anymore. I probably should, but I don't. I've done enough of that. I like my comics. They're short, they're simple, they're pretty engaging. But but anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, he had a book come out, and it got ripped off by I think it was Koreans. Yeah, it, his premise got ripped off for a Korean TV show, and the way that he found out was through Facebook. Apparently people in Korea were googling it to try to find out when the new season was going to come out. And so they were googling it and it came up with his name as the creator of Chicago Typewriter, and so they started sending him messages. They're like, "When's the new season come out?" And he had no idea that this even existed at the time, and he's just randomly getting messages from a bunch of Korean people. And then I guess he talked with his lawyers about it, but it really just wasn't worth it to try to do anything because there's really wasn't a whole lot he could do regardless, because apparently they changed the story just enough because they turned it into more of a romance kind of sitcom thing. But I always thought that was kind of hilarious, though. I mean, if I'm going to be ripped off in any fashion, like if suddenly like somebody in Korea is making this wild, just crazy ass fucking Otis themed romance sitcom kind of thing, I would probably promote the fuck out of it, even if I'm not making any money off it, because that's just such a wild and crazy concept. Like, who else could say, like, hey, the fucking Koreans ripped off my comic book for a show? Like, not a whole lot of people can say that. I don't know, that seems like a pretty fun selling point to me. Like, hey, my book's so cool, even Korea's ripping me off. I mean, it does suck he's not making money off of it, but at the same time, what can you do? His hands are tied. You could be sad about it, you could be upset about it, or you could, kind of giggle at it and think it's kind of funny and see it for what it is, which is something you can't control, but it is kind of funny. Especially with the way he found out, just random Koreans messaging him, asking him about the next season. I find that idea just really funny. Yeah, I hear you, cat. I'll get you some food here soon, you fat bitch. It's not even time yet. I had to put one of my cats on a diet. I'm not happy about it either, man. I like fat cats, but they're like, oh, they're unhealthy. I'm like, but they're fat and fluffy. Like if I were a cat, I don't care how unhealthy it would be. I'd be want to be the fattest, laziest fucking thing on the planet for my entire lifetime because, like, I rolled the dice and I lucked out with being a fucking cat. Like cats don't have a job. Like that's the chillest life ever. So, and they've only got what, 9? So, let's make them count. I live through my pets. Fucking Frank's fat too. I hope we get some more sun. It's been a bit rainy and stuff the past few days. Um, so I'm hoping we get some more sun and I can take them up and let them run around in the grass and in the sunshine for a little while. It's also a bit. I also have to watch out for hawks and stuff too when I let them do that. I'm hoping that because we've been looking at some properties and I'm hoping that when I get onto one, I'm going to build a side enclosure that attaches to the. I'm going to build a side enclosure for the buns and the cats, so they can get out, get outside. But just chicken wired in enclosure, just really simple, basic frame. Nothing too fancy. Just enough to keep them safe from predators like hawks and stuff like that that are flying around, and to let the cats get outside but not get hit by fucking cars. That would be nice, or killed by coyotes, or any number of other things. See, I grew up in nothing but miserable weather because, like, I'm in Alabama, yeah, but like I'm right on the coast. I'm right by the sea. I'm right there by the Gulf was where I was at. So it's like 20 minutes. So it's always raining, man. There's always some kind of storms rolling in out of nowhere, and it's just I like the rain to a degree, but at the same time, like everywhere I've lived has been a lot of rain. I like sunshine. I like going outside and being able to enjoy it. But I do like the rain. The weirdest thing, though, I need to look it up. I'm sure there's like some kind of scientific explanation, or maybe I'm just really stupid. But I've noticed that, like, when I was in Alabama, we had a lot of thunderstorms, and thunderstorms are really cool because it'd be like raining like crazy, and you would hear thunder, and it would rumble so loud that it would literally like shake things in your house. Like you would hear like your plates going on the counter or something. Not like an earthquake, but just like somebody just suddenly hooked up a huge massive subwoofer underneath your house. And it would just come crashing down. It was the best, it was the most comfortable sleep I've ever had was during a thunderstorm. Even though it sounds like the world's ending, it's strangely comforting to the extent that you can actually look up YouTubes of those sounds, except your house won't rumble too. It's a lot better when you can actually feel it too. But even though it sounds like the world's ending, you know it's completely safe outside. It's just thunder for the most part. Maybe a little bit of wind, but it's not like a hurricane or anything. So, where everybody's good, you just chill out and relax. But I haven't had any thunderstorms out here, and it's been like a year since I've moved to the Pacific Northwest, and I have not had one thunderstorm. I don't recall hearing any thunder at all. Like even when it rains, I haven't. All I'm gonna try to do is just try to listen out for thunder and like take notes, but I haven't really heard any. I'm guessing it's because of the temperature and stuff like that is different, and I know that stuff is pretty complicated because I'm not a meteorologist. I think that's what they would study. But anyways, I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for it. It's just so odd to me that there's no thunder. I don't know. It was like such a natural part of life, and now suddenly it's gone. I don't. There's a void there now. But we haven't had a single thunderstorm out here, and I went from having a thunderstorm like once a month to never. It seems. It's just odd. I want thunder snowstorms. Thunder snow. I'm sure it has something to do with temperature though, because we're right there. We're right under Canada, man. So we're pretty far up here in the mountains. There's lots of snow. during the winter and stuff like it. Like there's no snow right now. I don't think. I don't think I've seen any snow on the mountaintops. Like, but it does snow up here and stuff like that. It gets pretty fucking cold. I don't know if you guys are on Celsius or Fahrenheit. Uh, Over there, I imagine Celsius, but I don't know what it would be in Celsius. But our average is like the average temp here is probably like maybe -5 Celsius throughout the year. I mean, not throughout the year, throughout winter. I think it would be around -5, -4, -5, because it was pretty consistently about 20 degrees here. So I think that would, because I know 0 is 32 because that's where water freezes. For Celsius, water freezes at 0. I know it scales a lot differently too. So maybe I could just use this fantastic computer at my fingertips. Okay, let's see. Oh, I was actually really close. Uh, when I said it was typically around 20 degrees throughout the winter, it turns out in Celsius that is 6.66 degrees Celsius. I don't know how cold it gets where you're at. Like, what's the average temperature there? Like, it would get a lot colder than that, but that was kind of like, I don't know, that was kind of like the middle of the ground because some days it would get up to like, 40. But then other days it would actually legit get down to, I think we were in the negatives for a few days. I think it was -2 degrees for a few days, which is -18 on Celsius. I'm curious of like how cold it gets over there. Like, do you guys get snow and stuff? Like, what's a cold winter according to you? Because I know it changes a lot because like a cold winter in Alabama, the coldest it normally got was 20 degrees. The average temperature during winter in Alabama was actually more like 54, which ends up being 12 degrees Celsius. Okay. So you guys are about in line with what I have then. That's cool. We're pretty close. Let's see. I wonder what. Oh, it's usually. Jesus Christ, it's actually cold over there all the time. If it's always like. Because that's 55 for us. Like, lately, our temperature during the summer has. Just the other day, it peaked at 91. So that would be 32.7 Celsius there. So 32 going on 33. So it gets a lot hotter over here than it does there, I'm sure. Unless, I don't know, what's the highest heat you have over there? Because the way you worded it, you say usually it's 10 to 13, but winter it can be -8 to 11. I'm reading that as you're saying throughout the rest of the year it's usually 10 to 13. Like during your summer months and stuff like that. Oh, 40? I wonder what 40 would be for me. I've probably experienced a lot of 40 being in Alabama because I'm just going by Washington temperature right now. Oh, that's 104? Oh, that's not too bad. But you guys also have a lot of humidity too, so that probably ended up feeling like, what, 112? Do you guys have a heat index over there like we do here? I'm sure you do. I know that's probably a really stupid question to ask, but I don't know. Unless you've watched the Weather Channel in Great Britain, I don't think I would know. I've had no reason to do that before. So I'm sure you guys have something similar if it's not the same thing, where they calculate, how much even though it says this is a temperature, it actually feels like this due to, what the humidity's at. Is it raining? Yada, yada, yada. All that shenanigans. Oh, Mecca apologized for falling asleep. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way. But yeah, I know it's bad for you guys because like the winter over here was really bad for me because like our winters in Alabama, it would get like I said, our winters in Alabama is like 12. So when I ended up coming here and we had days where it ended up being negative 18, I was definitely not having fun. I was definitely out of my element, especially being as thin as I am. Like, I got a lot of muscle, but muscle doesn't really do a whole lot to protect you from the cold, to be completely honest. It doesn't help you float in water either. You sink like a fucking rock. I need to get fat. I need to get like this thick layer of protection. Or maybe I'll just get a gender reassignment surgery so I can have two titties be put right here. It's like, and I'll just convert them to hand warmers. I can do whatever I want. It's 2022. Oh, yeah. If it's normally only 10 to 13, I can imagine the benefit of that, but oh, that's really biting you guys in the ass. Well, the only words of wisdom I can give you for us dealing with that kind of heat is lots of box fans. Uh, Warm, wet rag helps. Plop it on your forehead. Not a warm, wet, a cool, wet rag, not a warm one. Oh, Jesus, though. I couldn't imagine being in a house that's built to trap heat and it's 104 degrees. And judging by how often it seems to rain for you over there, I'm going to say the humidity was probably pretty high, so it probably felt more like 112, 115. I mean, you were being cooked in an oven, man. That's just what it is. Like that was just nature trying to kill you guys. I'm still not quite sure that we're responsible for that, though. I think that's a mighty tall order to fill to be responsible for that. I mean, with like as much stuff as like fucking volcanoes put out, like it's hard for me to believe that we have the same power as a volcano. Like, I think our planet is, our climate is changing. I'm not saying that's not happening. I'm not 100% on board with man being the prime culprit behind it. I'm sure we add to it. You piss in the ocean, you've added to the ocean, but, you know, I think it's reversed. I think nature has a much larger role, and we're still trying to understand the cycles that our planet has gone through. And who knows, maybe our planet cycle isn't done yet, and we're still gonna have some shit that we don't even know that our planet's gonna do coming down the line. Like, if that makes any sense. Like we're not even done with the cycle. We don't know. Like time is so insignificant. Like we are closer to Cleopatra than she was to the pyramids, to the creation of the pyramids. Like that is how small time is right now. And as far as, the timeline of a planet, holy shit. It's like a tiny little fucking speck. Yeah, there's a lot of contributions, but I think the big main player is the Earth's gonna do what the Earth's gonna fucking do. Like like there's so many natural contributions to what's happening, including the moon. The moon's orbit has been decaying. We've been losing a few inches for a long time. Well, not a few inches. I think it's like. But anyways, eventually the orbit of the moon's going to decay to the point where it just goes away. What happens then? That we can't control that. That's not up to us. We're not the fucking moon. We're not. We don't control gravity. We can't be like, get over here. And global emissions isn't going to stop that. But despite us knowing scientifically that the moon has been gradually moving further away and further away over a long fucking period of time, nobody's going to say, hey, maybe that's contributing to the shit going down. No, they don't want to say that. They want to blame it on people because that's what makes them money. Yeah, maybe it is a centimeter. It's probably a centimeter. But still, that centimeter has a lot of impact because the moon controls our tides. There's a lot of shit that the moon does for us, and it keeps us on our axis. And as you know, you have true north and there's magnetic north or whatever. I mean, shit's been changing. A lot of different things are fucking happening, and we're like one of the tiniest ones, honestly. That's what aggravates me. It's like worrying about walking the dog while you got the fucking grease fire going in the kitchen. I'm not saying we can stop the grease fire though. I'm just saying that it's silly to ask me to believe that make we can control the earth. That just no, we can't. We're not. Are you gonna start to control how many cows fart? When you start up these bug factories to feed people, do you think that's gonna have an impact? Because I can tell you that you know there's been a lot of impacts on, especially like the rainforest to make way for all these stupid crops for the vegans. That's had a massive impact on the environment. Yet that's supposedly be good for the environment. I don't know. I'm just saying, let's just, as humans, do what humans do. This is what we were designed to do. This is what we were bred to do. Anything we do is a part of nature. You don't look at an ant hill and you say that's not a part of nature. That's ant made. No, you don't. anything that we do does happen naturally within nature because we are nature. Uh, I was arguing with some dude about nuclear fission happened in nature. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, but they're in nature naturally without any human interference whatsoever. Nuclear a nuclear fission reactor was created because everything was at the right place at the right time. So yeah, but I don't know what tangent I was going on about though. But anyways, we're nature. Like whatever we're doing to the earth is what we're supposed to be doing anyways. I'm not saying everybody should just start dumping toxic waste in the ocean. Like take care of our shit, but don't be so fucking blowhard about it. Don't keep ringing the end of the world fucking bell. You know, don't don't litter because it's not cool. Okay, can we get back to that without like Al Gore making fucking millions of dollars and flying around in his private jet while telling everybody else that they shouldn't be driving their car to work? Or instead, let's take that money and let's actually do something about it. Nobody wants to actually do anything about it. They just want to take fucking money. That's all they want to do. They either want to tell people what to do or they want to take money, but nobody wants to do anything. That's the annoying part. That's why I think most of it's bullshit. At least the man part. It just doesn't make it. Because even the guy, fucking, yeah, I don't like to litter either because I respect where I live. It doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the environment as a whole. It's just I think it's trashy to leave fucking trash when, as a species we can do better than that. But at the same time, like we shouldn't be freaking out and doing all this stupid fucking shit because some idiot decided that this wasn't necessarily, I don't know. There are certain things we should be restricting. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it is we've gone overboard. It's been stupid. Carbon emission credits and all that stupid shit. Just don't buy it. And I see a lot of the solutions being proposed actually causing a lot more fucking problems. Why haven't we embraced nuclear power yet if we care so much about getting off of fossil fuels? Nuclear power is extremely safe. I mean, even with the two times that, or maybe three times that it's gone wrong, there's like the 1 mile or two. There's the Mile Island one. I forget how many miles it was. There's Chernobyl, and there's that one in Japan, I think. Anyways, I mean, there wasn't a lot of casualties for either. And most of which can be put down to bad regulations. That came out with the studies, shit shouldn't have gone wrong. It wasn't just, and even when it did, it. Anyways, we can be safe about it. We can embrace it. We can be looking into new opportunities, but we're not. We want to just say fossil fuels are bad, but nobody's proposing anything better because anytime somebody says, "Oh, hey, well, electric cars," okay, well, how are you going to power that electric car? You need coal for the power plant, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, wind power. Okay, well, those things go out, I think, every 20 years, and we have fucking landfills full of shit from them. They also kill a lot of fucking birds. They're really bad for the environment. Uh, fucking hydropower. I think a blend of everything is pretty good, but it's just the way that everybody's like, I don't know. It's just really silly. And oil is a renewable resource, by the way, to a degree. It does occur naturally. It will keep producing oil. We won't run out of oil, if anyone's wondering. They've been saying it for like the past for hundreds of years. But no, you're not running. It's bullshit. It's a resource that is being renewed within the earth. We're not running out. It's being made. It's a naturally occurring thing that has occurred. But yeah, nuclear power would be pretty sweet, man. I don't know why we're not doing that. We should. Pretty effective. Really good for the environment. It has the lowest environment impact than any other. Kind of weird. And we could probably take it even further and make it cleaner if we put our heads together and really thought about it. And actually did something instead of just talking about how bad other things are. I do want a Tesla though. I wasn't necessarily shitting on electric cars. I was just shitting on the idea that somehow that is going to be better for the environment, and even though that what powers that car is more than likely a power plant operating on coal. But well, I guess I don't know. But Teslas do look cool. I really want one. Not because I'm like an Elon fanboy either. I just the car really intrigues me. Just what it can do, everything. I just and I hate driving. I'd love to have an auto drive. That would be pretty fucking wild. And I've seen a lot of Teslas around here in my area. So I did see one that didn't seem like it had brake lights for whatever reason though. Like I knew they were braking and slowing down, but there were no brake lights, and I was like, huh. Well, it's a good thing I'm paying attention to my pace, because if I wasn't and I was just looking out for somebody's brake lights to pop up, that could have gotten a little hairy. But I'm a good driver. I'm very observant. Try to always be responsible while driving, because other people's lives are always at stake when you're behind the wheel, including your own. It's hard for me to take people seriously when they spurg about fucking gun violence when they're completely complicit with how many people die of vehicle accidents because we don't properly train or vet people, and we just give driver's licenses to 16-year-olds. And yeah, I'd much rather have a little bit more restrictions on who can operate vehicles. I think that would save a significant number of lives. But anyways, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm still not feeling too hot, and I got that kind of fevery thing where your eyes feel really warm. I don't know. Smoking weed helps, but it only masks it. But I will catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out, Pickles. That was cool. Maybe next time you can actually hop on. That would be even cooler. Later.